Okay, I'm changing to my full screen now. Now that's my full screen. Is that not correct? Okay. Now, if you wanted to ask for your installed memory, you can go to the Start menu, right-click based on the diagram on the screen. You go to Properties, and if you notice there, it shows you your installed memory. It says mine is 0.98 what? Gig. Of course, because I'm running a virtual machine. Is that not correct? Okay. So that is if you want to verify your memory. Now, the next part is to, if you want to install drivers from the internet. If you notice there, I gave you a website called hp.com. That's why I asked you guys to go and download. I told you guys to download the manual for your laptops, and you all went to the manufacturer to do that. Is that not correct? Now, when you got the manuals, you'll notice that on that same platform, it also shows you the drivers of that device as well. Is that not correct? It tells you where to get the updates of the drivers and how to go about doing it. So that is why I did mention the internet there. Then, of course, if you want to install a device drivers can be installed either from a CD, it can be installed from downloading it from the internet, it can also be installed individually as well. So let's say, for example, we're asked to add a device. Let's say I have a device already that is being shipped from South Africa, but it has not landed here in Namibia. But I would like to use this device. But the problem is that this computer is going to Ushakati, and I reside in Vento. Now, my company said, but can you find a way of installing this device on the computer so that whenever the device arrives, we'll send it to Ushakati, and the users in the Ushakati, all they do is just to plug and it starts playing. Are we together? Now, how do we do that? Let's say, for example, this device, we somehow got hold of the CD online and download it on the system. We now installed it. That can also work. Or we are aware that this particular device has a Microsoft actually has a driver. So let's say we are asked to add a particular device. Let's say a printer, for example. How do we go about it? Let me minimize. We can go to the Start menu. Do you see device and printers? So we'll click on device and printers. Okay, it's going to load up. Just leave it to load up. Computer is a little bit slow. Okay, it's done. Now, we were asked to add what? A printer. Is that not correct? Now, we are going through this step assuming that we are aware that Microsoft do have a built-in driver for what? For this particular device. So I'll click add a printer. The wizard will pop up, and you notice we have two options. The first option says what? The first option says add what? A local printer. Now, add a local printer means that what? We have a printer that is either connected by a USB or a parallel what? Cable. Is that not correct? Meaning, local printer meaning it's attached. Are we together? Now, the next one says add a network printer, meaning the printer is on the network somewhere. Or if it's a wireless printer, or is a what? A Bluetooth what? Printer. But in this case, this is not the case we have currently. Actually, the printer we want to add is what? A local printer. So I'll click on local printer. Then it's going to ask me, you see by default, it took LPT1. You guys know what LPT represents, right? A parallel port. Is that not correct? But then, let's say if the printer was a USB, I would probably kind of screw down to look for if there is a USB here, but I don't have a USB port here. Is that not correct? So I can actually come in here and I can say create new. I can say local port. Create a new local port. Then I can click next. Then it will ask me to enter what? The name of what? The port. Are we together? Okay, let's go back to the first one. Let's use LPT1 as the default. It's fine. I'll click next. Now, you notice by default, Microsoft will actually list to you all the drivers it has. Let's say this is an HP printer. So we'll look for HP. We'll type the word HP. Let's say it's an HP printer, Office Jet J466 660. Let's say the printer is an HP OfficeJet J4660 series. Are we together? So that is where it falls under the series, right? So what I will do, I will come in here and says, I will select the series and I'll click next. It will automatically install the printer. But let's say I really do not have, I've noticed that after checking HP, I discovered that I don't have that particular printer installed here. But somehow I went online and download the drivers from HP. What I would do, I will come here and click on what? Have this. I will click browse. Then I will go to that folder where that driver is. If it's on my desktop, click on that driver and I'll click on what? Open. The moment I click on open, that driver will be listed here automatically on my screen. I don't know if we're together. Okay, let's say for example, what is the name of this printer again? Let's say OK. Now this print, OK data. I don't know what's the name. I think it's OK. I'm looking for a printer that is not here. ML240. So let's say I will click on have this. I want to go to the network to see if I can get something. Let me save a network profile here for me to be able to achieve that. I want to save a driver on my computer. I'm logging into the server now. This is actually RIT server. So what I want to do, there's a printer somewhere. I want to copy that printer and put it here. Yeah, that's the driver. So this is the name of the driver, huh? Are we together? Yeah, I've copied it. It's on my desktop. Just waiting, preparing to copy. Let's see how big is the file. It should not be a big file. Yeah, it's copying now. Yeah, it's not a big file. 13 megs, so it's not quite big. So remember, I'm using this as an example. Are we together? So let's say, for example, I've actually downloaded these drivers from the internet. Remember, this printer is coming from South Africa, right? I need to send this laptop to Shakati. So what I would do, I'll close this now. So what I would do, remember, we came through by, I'll cancel this now. I'll come back again. Device and printers. Add a printer. The wizard comes up. I'll say it's a local printer. It says, how is this printer connected? I'll say it's connected through, meaning this is the port. Meaning this printer is actually using a serial what? Cable connection. Are we together? So I'll click next. Now, remember, we don't have the printer here. Is that not correct? So I'll click have this, browse. I'll go to desktop. And I'll go to the library. I'm using Windows 7, right? So I'll go to Windows Vista. Huh? Are we together? I'll select English. That is a driver, guys. That file you see there, that is 5 kilo. That is a driver. I'll click open. I'll click OK. Did you see the driver displayed now? Olivetti. Did you see it? So actually, this is the Olivetti they bought. So I'll select this. I'll click next. Then if I was asked to give the name of the printer, I was asked to call it Corp Department. That's the name of the printer. I'll click next. And you see, is it installing printer now? Now this printer will get installed. Now if I was asked to share the printer, I can go ahead and say share the printer. But if I was instructed, make sure the printer is not shared, I will come in here and says, do not what? Share this printer. I will click next. And I'll click finish. Is the printer installed? Is the printer installed? Now, this printer may not work right now if you try to print because there is no attachment with what? LPT. So by the time the printer comes, they send it to Shakati, they connect the parallel cable to the printer, the other end to the desktop. that computer will start printing immediately without even installing any drivers. Because if it tries to detect, the computer will notice that this device is already what? Existing. Then it will go ahead and do the installation. So that is just a way of installing a printer. That is a way of what? Adding what? A device. Now I did mention about MS config, right? Now if you wanted to disable certain programs from starting up, I will go to the start menu. I will type MS config. Are we together? And I'll press enter. It will bring up the system what? Configuration. Remember, there are two things this tool is used for. It's used to configure startup, and it's also used to configure what? Your boot. So let's say, for example, if I have multiple Windows 7 operating system here, if this one I'm currently logging is the current boot, I can actually change them to which one should be the default. But currently I only have one installed. If you come to startup, actually there's no startup here already because I don't have programs installed on my laptop here yet. If you come to service, do you see all the services that are running here? Did you see all the services that are running? Huh? Yeah, those are the services that are running. Now my time is 8:34 p.m. Okay. So those that you can look at it. That is, now these are all different type of services. I can come in here, I can uncheck this. Are you getting me? Uncheck this. By unchecking is what am I doing? I'm what? Stopping what? That service. Are you getting me? Okay. And of course, these are just your normal tools if you want to launch them. So I'm going to click cancel so that no changes is made. Now the other thing I want to talk about is task scheduler. How do you schedule a task? Let's say, for example, if I wanted to schedule a task, I'll come to my computer, right click, and I'll click on what? Manage. Are we together? I'll click on manage. Do you see task scheduler there? I'll select it, and I'll come to the library of my task scheduler. Now, it says currently, I don't have any task that is scheduled. Is that not correct? Is that not correct? So if I wanted to create a task, I will come here and say create what? A task. And I will give it a name. I'll say testing. Now, that is the author, which is Network Plus, because my username is Network Plus, right? I can write a description. I will say run only when user is logged in, or run whether the user is logged in as what or not. These are security options, right? Triggers. Now, what are the triggers? I will click on new. Just a minute. So when you want to create a task, you need to specify what? The trigger. On what? Schedule basis. One at a time. I will say do it at 8. Sorry. Are you getting me? On daily basis. Once a day, right? Okay? That is on schedule, right? Is that not correct? Okay. I'll click OK. That's the time. Every day at 8:39. Action. I'll click new. I will say what? Send an email or start a program. Then I will ask what program does it start? Let me hurry up. I'll say Windows Media Player. Go to my computer. Program files. Windows Media Player. I'll click open. So that's the program is going to start in, right? Are you getting me? I'll click OK. Conditions. Start the task only if the computer is idle for 10 minutes. So this is now you're trying to specify it. Settings. Allow the task to be run on demand. You can stop the task and all that. And I'll say OK. Run the new instance in parallel or queue them. So I'm just going to leave it by default. I'll click OK. And of course, let's see whether it's going to run by. So let's leave it. Let's see if it's Windows Explorer is going to open. Remember, we schedule it at what? 8:39. So let's see if it's going to run at 8 what? 39. So let's see. It's just a minute. It's 8:39. Is it running? Did it come up?
Yes.
Guys, the Windows Media Player come up?
Yes.
Exactly. If you want to shut down, whatever you want to do, you just put what? A task. You're carrying out what? A task. So at this point in time, the antivirus will come up, or that particular special program comes up and starts operating. Are we together? So that is how to set up a task scheduler. So that's the actions, and that's the actions. You will say start up a program. Is that not correct? If you come to history, you can refresh it. You can refresh to see. Okay, no history is disabled. So guys, that is how to run some of these features. What else again did I talk about? What else again did I talk about before we leave today? That we've talked about the task manager. Is that not correct? Okay, I've talked about the task manager. Okay, remember we talked about the command line on how to create a folder with a command prompt, right? Now let me go to my drive C right now. Now listen, look at my drive C. I'm on drive C right now. Is that not correct? Okay, I want to create a folder called MD. No, I want to create a folder called Network Plus. Now, if you notice, you see a folder here called Network Plus. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to go to my command prompt, CMD, and I'm going to run it as an administrator. I'll click yes. Now I'm going to type C, drive C, press enter. Then I'm going to type CD network what? Plus. Is that not correct? Remember, I said C, meaning I'm now in the directory of what? C. Is that not correct? So I want to create a folder called network what? Plus. I'll press enter. Sorry. Submit. Okay, that's it. Because I had to specify which location. Now let me go back to my folder. Let me refresh.
It went down, sir. There's a network plus there in the network. The site where it says network. Is that
Just a minute. Now just give me a minute. I'm coming. I think I'm missing something. Just give me a minute. I just want to correct that. One class. Did I have any command prompts on your folder? Okay, this CD is if I want to copy. CD is if I want to copy. So what I would do, I will type C. I'll type MAKDRR network plus. Okay, let's go now. Let's see. Why is network plus not coming up? The folder should actually show. Did I give you guys any command line on your computer system? Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Let's check. Let me see. System 32. Let me see. System 32. Let me see. Network. Look at what we have been doing. You know what happened? Sorry. You know what happened? You see the URL. Do you remember I talked about the directory? So I've actually been creating it. Yeah. Yes.
So if it was just C.
Yeah. If it was just C, it would have been there.
Okay, let's try it on C, sir.
Are you getting me?
Okay, we have to cancel.
Yeah, I have to remove it from the administrator. Yeah, I have to remove it from the administrator. Are you getting me? But you see, you need to have a profile of the user. Yeah, I can actually create it wherever I want to create it, and I can also move it as well. Are you getting me? Yeah, I can also create it, and also I can also move it. The CD, actually, it's when you want to. The CD can create, but most of the times we use the CD when you want to move content from when you want to copy content from one system to another. Make directory also can also do that as well. If you check, what was the next one what did it was network plus we also typed, right? Yeah. So that is it there. That's the folder we created. Yeah, that's the folder we created based on this URL. Are you getting me? Yeah. Okay, guys, I don't want to waste your time. So what I will do now, I'll stop here, and we'll continue from here next time.